3 self-radicalised Singaporeans were detained under the Internal Security Act in November 2024. Authorities say their cases are not related, but there was one common factor in their radicalisation: the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, which led each of them to make preparations to engage in armed violence overseas. The Internal Security Department says the self-radicalisation of all 3 men took place online. They were separately arrested in October 2024. Here's what we know about each of them. 21-year-old Indra was a lift mechanic at the time of his arrest. His radicalisation began after the Hamas attacks against Israel on October 7, 2023. ISD says Indra was so emotionally affected by the suffering of the Palestinians in Gaza, he wanted to fight for Hamas. He practiced with toy guns and honed his unarmed combat skills at home. He was influenced by extremist material online. 41-year-old Laff was a director in a digital marketing company in Bangkok. He was arrested when he returned to Singapore. Latif's radicalisation started in 2010 after he began consuming online content about the end of times. He became convinced that he needed to fight against the enemies of Islam. The Hamas attacks and Iran's involvement in the conflict spurred him to ramp up his combat readiness. He also visited a shooting range in Bangkok in 2022. ISD says Latif didn't specifically plan to attack Singapore, but would have done so if given orders from Iran's supreme leader. 44-year-old Nishan was a security guard when he was arrested. Like Latif, he became interested in end-of-times prophecies in 2020 and was exposed to foreign radical preachers on social media. After the Hamas attacks, he believed it was his religious duty to defend Palestinian Muslims by joining Hamas's military wing. ISD says Nishan did extensive research on how to travel to Gaza and planned to go to a shooting range in Batam. All 3 men acted alone, and ISD says there's no indication that any others in Singapore were radicalized or recruited by them. Their family members were also unaware of their plans. Since the start of the Israel-Hamas war, at least 5 Singaporeans have been dealt with under the ISA.